Alright, motherfuckers. I don't know if I'm gonna use uh, the recording of Tua's injuries over the past 2 weeks. I might use it, but I'm not gonna show the up close where he's all fucked up from tonight. If anyone wants to see it, they showed it several hundred times on Amazon Prime, where I thought I had a pretty decent pregame show, but I don't know, I'm a little weird about that stuff. I don't like looking at people at their worst moments. And I'll get into the football game, but really, Tua Tagovailoa is obviously the area of concern with this team. And if the Miami Dolphins organization made a mistake somewhere along the line, uh, I listened to the Mike McDaniel press conference because I wanted to listen to it before I even hit record on this. Because I wanted to first just hear what he had to say, see about Tua's status, and first of all, it's great that Tua's gonna be back with the team and headed to Miami with them. We'll probably see him again sooner than later. The season's not over. Got the Jets next, so should end up being 4-1, and then who knows? Probably not gonna have Tua next week though, so it'll be what it's gonna be. Um, Hard to be a Dolphins fan in this world, but as far as if the Dolphins as an organization made a mistake, um, I would say where, because on Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio asked, he said the NFL. I don't know if he asked the NFL or the Dolphins, but he left it kind of open ended. But I'd say he asked the NFL, what did they do to decide Tua was clear from a concussion? And I would say that's the most important question to ask. What went into that? Because that ultimately decides if there's a guilty party. People need to fucking relax, all right? I know that it looked bad when he got up and was wobbling around. The whole media was talking about it. I mean, everyone was talking about it. And fate would have it, he definitely had a fucking concussion tonight. Are the two things correlated? Man, I don't know. I really don't know. He didn't play enough last week for me to know if he was looking off or I mean, he didn't look off to me, but he didn't play that much. He only had like two drives the entire second half. I'm not going to include the last one because it was just two runs and a throwaway. So it's hard to say. It all goes down to what happened when Tua left the stadium and went into the locker room. And they have independent neurologists. So the person that cleared Tua from concussion protocol does not work for the Miami Dolphins. Um, he's an independent he or she is an independent neurologist. And they looked at Tua and decided he did not have a concussion and he should not be in concussion protocol. Uh, that person, I suppose, can be held accountable. But what we're doing is we're looking at video footage. And the media doesn't like to give full context of things. And I'm not some kind of dolphin savior. I think the organization does everything right. Uh, the owner, Stephen Ross, has done some shady shit, but this has nothing to do with the owner. This is a one singular football operations incident where Tua gets hit, and I seen the quarterback sneak. It did look like he was hurt after that play. If you rewatch the Dolphins-Bills game, the drive before that, Tua does a quarterback sneak, and he's laying on top of the pile looking really locked up. And he rolled on his side, then very slowly got up, and he looked hurt. And then, of course, on the next drive, when he completed that third down pass, he gets pushed over. His head hit the ground, but it didn't hit it that hard. I mean, mind you, this guy's wearing a helmet. I'm not saying he didn't have a concussion. head coach Mike McDaniel has said that he knows for 100% that Tua didn't have a concussion and he wouldn't fuck around with that shit. And I agree with him. I'd take his word for it, at least from. And Mike McDaniel has to keep it politically correct, but I won't. From Mike McDaniel's perspective, Tua 100% did not have a concussion because the neurologist explained to him that Tua didn't have a concussion. So I guess what comes to next is, as the media is going to run with this, but do you believe, and I'll get into my opinion in a second, but do you believe that when Tua took that hit and his back locked up and he fell over, looked woozy, he did look woozy, but then the neurologist said no concussion, he's good, and then he went back and finished the game, and then he's acting normal, I'd assume. He's acting right. As an organization, should they have taken that video and decided that is enough for us to decide he should not be playing the rest of this game or Thursday night? Obviously, I understand the rest of the game because Mike McDaniel's not sitting there looking at replays all the time of Tua getting injured. So he would have had to have just gone with what the neurologist said. It's a back injury, not a concussion. So then we go into this week. There's no doubt the Dolphins knew about this footage and that the media was talking about it. There's no doubt about it. Everyone knew. But I guess the thought process would that be enough for the Dolphins to decide to pull him from the game? Should that have been enough for the Dolphins to pull him from the game? Or do you take the doctor's advice? The rules set by the NFL, you need to have an independent neurologist. Independent neurologist cleared Tua. And from that perspective, I would say if Tua was acting normal and I'm the head coach and I'm the one seeing him every day and he's still his same old self, I would have played him. I would have played him if he could play. And obviously, hindsight's 2020. Probably shouldn't have played. But the question, I guess, comes down to is, does one play have a correlation with the other? I mean, hard to say. It really is. If I had to guess, I'm saying no. This is a guessing game. This is what the media is going to do all week. It's a guessing game. No one knows. There's going to be outrage, people calling for heads because that's what Twitter, the new Twitter age does. Fuck that. All right? People need to fucking just grow up. Grow up and look at things from an objective point of view. And from my point of view, I would say that what could the Dolphins have done differently? This ultimately should end up falling into the laps of whoever the neurologist that cleared him is. The independent neurologist, not hired by the Dolphins, would have no reason to decide that Tua could go out there. It's not like, what do you think? Mike McDaniel walked in there and fucking flipped out $100. Was like, hey, I mean, he doesn't have a concussion. Come on. And the doctor's like, all right, fuck it. It's a back injury. I mean, that's bogus. And you could see in the game when Tua tried to go deep for Tyreek Hill. Look, Tua doesn't have the strongest arm, but he could get it out there. It looked weak. It looked weak. And that's that. That's that on the Tua injury. I don't really even want to say any more about it. I really don't. What can I possibly add to it? The media is going to make a fucking shitstorm about it anyway. It's going to be a whole thing all week, and we know it. I know it. I'm not going to watch too much of it. It was a deflating day. It was a deflating day for the Miami Dolphins organization. Anyway, what was I going to say? Fuck, I was looking at Twitter just trying to see what people are saying. I mean, look, as Mike McDaniel said, the last thing I'll say about Tua's injury, the whole squad was out there for him. The whole team. The whole team was out on the field. And I think right now there's no less optimism for me about Tua Tagovailoa as the franchise quarterback. And I think we will see him back this year because of what Mike McDaniel's saying. Will he be back against the Jets? I'll be there. I'll probably be there watching Teddy fucking B. Water play. And that'll segue into the football game we watched. I don't want to make excuses. If Tua was out there, would it have been different? Maybe. But maybe not. So, look, the Bengals outplayed the Dolphins. And that's that. Oh, turn off my fucking car. And if Tua was out there, I think that late drive where they're down probably stays alive. It also looked like they were trying to run every first and second down. It worked late, but for the most part, it didn't really work. It was kind of a waste of time. I mean, it's really hard to focus on football, man. Another thing I want to get into is the missed tackles by the defense. That needs to be fixed. Way too many missed tackles. Could that have been because they were gassed partially? I'm sure partially it was because they were gassed. So I don't know. I mean, congrats to the Bengals, but I'm not too worried about this loss. We were supposed to be 1-3 going into this next stretch, is what people were saying. We're 3-1. So the Dolphins are in a good spot. Hopefully they could will their way to a win against the Jets next week. I'll be there cheering the boys on. Not going to sell tickets and pull out like a bitch because Tua's not playing, which, I mean, he's probably not going to be playing. But Bridgewater's a capable veteran, and hopefully with some snaps in practice, he'll have a better hold on the offense, because it really did look like tonight that McDaniel didn't trust him. And when he threw it, he looked all right. He didn't look great. He looked all right. And that's that. I mean, we know he's been in the league for a long time. He should be all right. He should be all right against the Jets. It's probably going to be a defensive-dependent game. I'll make a preview on that once we find out more about what's going on with Tua. That's the reality of it. That's the reality of what we're leaving here with as a Dolphins fandom. Is that we're just going to be thinking about Tua. And that's what the locker room is saying from what I'm reading online. Jalen Waddle was emotional. Tyreek Hill was emotional. Balled the fuck out tonight. Of course, Eli Apple, I mean, he got that late play, but I mean, that shit doesn't matter right now. I mean, we're Tua is what's on the mind of, I think, everyone in the building and the fan base. And the other fan base is celebrating Tua's injury, which, I mean, if you're celebrating someone's injury, I mean, you're either a child. If you're 16 and younger, look, it's shitty to do, but I get it. You're 16 and younger, you're on some edgy shit. You laugh at Tua's injury because you're a Bills fan. Look, these grown men celebrating injuries have nothing going in their lives. Nothing. I mean, what could you possibly have going in your life where you're celebrating another team's injury because you root for a team that lost to them? I mean, you probably ain't got a lot of money. Probably ain't got a good woman. Probably ain't got a good family. That's all I'll say about that. And I've seen a lot of that. I think it's... And it's grown men, too. Grown men. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. But I do think Tua will be back. I could make that prediction because I'm not the coach at a podium. I think when you look at the facts that he's going back with the team now, he'll probably miss a game or two and be back. Remember, Pat Mahomes, I think it was last year, the year before, had a concussion. Chad Henne came in, and Mahomes was playing the next week. It's different for everybody, but Then again, I don't think they'll want to risk it against the Jets. I ain't got too much more to say about this football game. I know it was just all about Tua, but that's all I'm thinking about. That's all the team's thinking about. They're 3-1. Season will keep a move on next week in New Jersey, and I'll try to get a special video going with my trip to New Jersey because I'll be fucking driving there, whether Tua's playing or not. I'll fucking be there. But hopefully I get a preview in before that. But anyway, that's it. If you're a Dolphins fan, look, I know we lost. Relax. They're 3-1. Teddy Bridgewater is capable of beating the Jets. And hang on, I'm not even gonna end the video yet. Let me see who they play in the next couple weeks. I know Teddy's capable. I'm not gonna say they're gonna beat the Jets. It'll definitely be a feat. But I mean, it's better than Teddy needing to go in and play the Bengals. I mean, that had no chance of working out. So the Jets should be able to get them, and then the Vikings. I mean, that'll be tough. That'll be tough. Then the Steelers, Lions. So there's winnable games in here. Look, 10 days till they play the Jets. 17 days till they play the Vikings. Plenty of time. Plenty of time for Teddy to figure out the offense or Tua to get healthy. Yeah, hopefully Tua does get healthy. Dolphins fans, spend some time with your families. Enjoy yourselves. Don't get too stressed out. I like to just say, look, we're fans, and we have no control over the talking heads. We have no control over the organizational decisions. I'm sure if some of us did, perhaps things would have been differently, would have went differently, and maybe Tua wouldn't have played, but we don't. We're not independent neurologists. We're not fucking doctors. The media isn't doctors. Stephen A. Smith yelling into the camera how people need to be fired tomorrow is not a doctor. Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless are not doctors. It's entertainment. All right? And Twitter, not doctors. All right? They're going to get into an uproar. It is what it is. It is what it is. I know that I will be enjoying football on Sunday, having a couple drinks, and maybe I'll jump on then to make another video. But we'll see. We'll see. This one's been way too long, and I've been rambling for way too long, so I'm going to cut it off here. Fuck you. Fins up. We'll be fucking back.